Hello guys, welcome to Vishnu IAS Academy. Hope you are all doing well. How are your studies going on for UPSC 2026? Hope they are all going well, right? So today in this part of series of Mission 2026, today too I'm going to guide you on how to analyze, study and absorb as well as use your syllabus as a guide for your studies. For both mains examination as well as prelims also. Okay, and are you all following what I have requested you to do? That is reading the syllabus before you go to bed as well as immediately you wake up. Are you doing it? Please do it, if not at least from now. And within one span of 1 week to 10 days itself, you'll notice huge difference in your preparation as well. Okay, come. So on this note, today we'll be going for it. Come, let's see. See, we all know very well, right? Prelims examination and mains examination. Okay, first thing is that how to start your preparation. Is it good for you to start with the prelims perspective or with the mains perspective? What do you think would be the right approach for you? We'll get answer to that within a short duration. Come here. See, this is the highlighted part is the preliminary examination syllabus of UPSC. Okay, which consists of GS paper and CSAT paper. The down one is CSAT paper. Okay, when it comes to GS paper, if you read the syllabus, it will be given like the following terms which I am reading. Listen carefully. So, current affairs and history, geography, both India and the world. See, observe this, and you also, while listening to this video, you just keep your syllabus by your side so that it will be much more precise and you can understand this with much more clarity. Okay. Indian and world geography, and that too physical geography, social, economic geography of India as well as the world. Okay, this is also very vast subject. And Indian polity and governance, which consists of constitution, political system, okay, Panchayati Raj, public policy, rights, issues, etc. Okay, and next, economic and social development comprises of sustainable development, poverty, inclusion, demographics, social sector initiatives and so on. General issues on environment and ecology, both, okay, biodiversity and climate change, which do not require any subject specialization, and general science. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are the 7 topics that have been given in the preliminary stage of your UPSC examination. This is the syllabus that covers the preliminary examination. And if we come to the mains, don't you think that all these subjects and all the topics within these subjects are also given in the mains, and that too in a very elaborate and detailed manner of what you are supposed to study in geography, specifically what you are supposed to study. For example, let's say history of India and Indian national movement is only given in the preliminary examination. If we see this, okay, part in the main syllabus, it will be written as, see, it is covered under GS paper 1 and under the subject history. Under the subject history. So, what is that relevant that has been given in the mains? The freedom struggle, okay, and its various stages. This is the first topic which you are supposed to cover. Various stages of the freedom struggle, important contributors, okay, and important contributions from different parts of the country. Isn't it elaborate, and isn't this particular part of modern history has given you an idea of what to read? Then don't you think that if you start reading from this, you can cover that syllabus in the prelims as well? Hope you understood my point. So this is the reason why you are supposed to start with your mains. You are supposed to start with your mains itself. Okay, it will give you utmost clarity of what to read in detail, because all the subjects and the topics that are covered in the preliminary portion of the syllabus are also the same in the mains portion also. See, of course, this is a known point, but some people, most of the people, beginners, some people who approached me, they got confused whether to start from the prelims or from the mains point of view. Those who know about it, well and good, I wish you all the best, but it is for those who doesn't know anything and get confused. So after hearing this, I hope you'll be coming out of this confusion and start reading from the mains, okay, perspective. And not only this subject, be it economy, geography, okay, current affairs, okay, and polity, biodiversity, environment, climate change, all the subjects that are mentioned in the prelims will be covered in the mains as well in detailed and elaborated manner. Okay, so that is why this is the reason why you are supposed to start. If you start with your mains, you know all the vastness of that knowledge which you have accumulated can be used for the preliminary examination GS paper part also. When it comes to CSET, then again that study part will be totally different, which you are supposed to read and practice later on. Okay, I'm talking only about the general studies. Hope it is clear for you. Okay, and now let's come to the paper mains. Okay, this is the mains part. Before going through that, all of you, I would like to bring to your notice this very important point that has been mentioned by the UPSC itself. What is it? What does UPSC want to test you by giving this mains examination for you? What does it want to test? See, here itself it is given. It want to assess your overall intellectual traits. It does want to assess your overall intellectual traits. Okay? And also your depth of understanding. Intellectual traits and depth of understanding, rather than merely the range of information and memory, but not the information of or the vast information which you have gathered. And UPSC also doesn't want to test your memory. It doesn't want that. What all it is expecting from you is your intellectual. It want to test your intellectual skills as well as the depth of your understanding, your analytical skills. It also wants to test your critical analysis and normal analysis. Okay, and also the depth of your understanding, but not your intelligence but not your memory, or simply the vastness of the information which you have accumulated. Okay, so these are the key points which you are supposed to remember before starting your examination. So based on that, you have to analyze, keep on analyzing while reading whatever the book you have selected to read first. Clear? I hope I'm clear. And so on this note, let's come to the syllabus. Paper 1 is essay paper. See, when can you start writing your essay? Most of the people also suffer with this kind of doubts. Isn't that so? See, once you have completed your GS syllabus and once you are thorough with your GS syllabus, I'm sorry, UPSC syllabus, you know, most of the times it can't be completed by any one of us. That is the vastness of this syllabus. What all I mean to say is that, okay. But once you get an understanding of what the GS paper 1, 2, 3 and 4 in UPSC mains are, then you will be getting an idea on how to write an essay, because essay will be covering all the aspects of GS papers ranging from paper 1 to paper 4. So, it is only after you have a clear-cut idea of what GS papers include, then it will be an easy task for you to attempt the essay. Till then, you know, you can't attempt the essay. For example, let's say if GS, any of the essay question has been asked based on any of the GS paper 1 topics related to Indian heritage and culture, history and geography of the world, then you can answer it very easily given the condition you have completed your GS paper 1. Clear? Okay, very nice. Next, if we come to GS paper 1, how you are supposed to read? Anyways, you'll be having a A4 paper sheets containing this UPSC syllabus beside you only while reading. Always it should be by the side of you only. Okay, either in the paper format or in your brain or in your soft copy, whatever it is. Okay, so GS paper 1 consists of Indian heritage and culture, okay, history, geography of the world and society. These are the 3 main topics that will be covered in your GS paper 1. Okay, so now how you are supposed to read this? Prior to this only, I have made some videos guiding you on the books in which you are supposed to read for your UPSC syllabus. Okay, so you keep your books aside, okay, and first start with NCERTs. Once you are done, then automatically you will be switching on. Okay, and before that, you know, you have to analyze the syllabus. Analyzing the syllabus means that, you know, you are supposed to Google and search by yourselves any of the words which you feel difficult or which you are unaware of. that are given in the syllabus. When it comes to history, you know what does Indian culture mean? Isn't that so? So Indian culture will be covering 3 aspects. One is art forms, second one is literature and architecture. You, after completing your graduation, you know the meaning of art forms. What does art form mean? Isn't that so? You also know what literature means, and you also know what architecture means. So no need of googling all these terms. You are very much aware of this. Clear? And now second, modern Indian history. I'm just taking this as an example so that I can make you understand. Okay? Modern Indian history from about the middle of the 18th century until the present. Significant events, personalities and issues. Even here also you can understand by simply reading this paragraph itself. No need of googling anything out of this. Isn't that so? All the terms are very much simple for you over here. Okay? And now freedom struggle. Again here also the same tariqa will be followed by you. Okay? So overall, if you read this paper comprising of geography, history and Indian culture, most of the topics you come across in the syllabus point of view are very much conscious of you. That means you are aware of each and every term. Okay? And when it comes to Indian society, salient features of Indian society, diversity. You know what the salient features of Indian society means in a layman term, and diversity of India means also you know the meaning of it, so no need of googling it. Okay? And you know the meaning of urbanization. What all I mean to say is this, you know, these are the words which you are supposed to underline, and in case if you feel that you are not aware of this particular meaning of any of the word, please without any hesitation search it in the Google, and then you know after that you will be knowing your purpose. Your brain will be sensing that, yeah, now I'm getting some sense to read this. Otherwise, you know, you'll be getting it seems, you know, without any purpose we cannot do any work. That's a simple logic. So here your purpose is to decode the meaning of every term. So first rule in analyzing a syllabus is decode or know the meaning of each and every word in the syllabus which you feel that you don't know. Clear? Right. Very good. So, same should be followed for each and everything. Know the meaning of the words or the concepts in the syllabus which seem new for you or which you feel you don't know the meaning of them. Clear? Okay? By Google search or by taking the help of Wikipedia, okay, YouTube or whatever the means you are comfortable with. Clear? Okay. Done. Once you are done, you know, for some people economy may seem very vast for them, so that they have to search so many words along with their meaning to get awareness of them. What is the use after doing all this? I told you, right? Now you will be getting the purpose, clear purpose of what to read and what not to read. Clear? You will be understanding it once you have done this task. And now, second thing is that, you know, syllabus, it consists of, listen carefully, it consists of 2 parts. One is hidden parts inside it. Some parts of the syllabus seem very simple. Some parts seem complex, whereas some parts are directly asked. For example, if it is asked like current events of national and international importance, do you think it is directly asked? No, right? It is having lot of hidden meaning, which I told you in the beginning of the session itself. So, when do you understand the vastness or the depth of current events of national and international importance? Only after you start attaining certain depth of knowledge in this GS papers. That's what I mean in talking about hidden meaning. Okay. Likewise, there are so many topics also in the main syllabus which contain hidden meaning in them. Okay. Some are directly asked, some will be indirectly asked. Okay. You are supposed to identify even those also. Example, wait. For example, see. When it comes to polity part of the paper, there is a part of the topic which I am reading now. Appointment to various constitutional posts, powers functions and responsibilities of various constitutional bodies, appointment to various constitutional posts, okay, functions, powers and responsibilities of various constitutional bodies. What does this mean? It is very directly post topic of polity syllabus, which you can read it directly. It doesn't have any hidden meaning in that. But you know, these kind of hidden meanings will mostly be seen in GS paper 4. Okay, GS paper 4, ethics paper, you'll be coming here. So here you'll be reading it directly. Okay, and here, yeah, when it comes to the vastness of polity subject, this particular topic which I am reading now. Listen, welfare schemes. Okay, welfare schemes for vulnerable sections of the population by center and the states, and also the performance of these schemes. Okay, as well as mechanisms, laws, institutions and bodies constituted for the protection of this vulnerable section of the population. This is a part of social justice. Okay, in the social justice, it is talking all about the vulnerable sections of the society and also the schemes which the government has framed for the protection, upliftment and also bringing equality, okay, of these vulnerable sections among the society. This seems very simple, but if you start reading, trust me, this is going to be somewhat slightly complex subject for you. You are supposed to know what vulnerable section of a population are. So, and also what are various types of schemes with which the government has come forward for giving them security. Why do these particular section called as vulnerable section needs special attention and special protection by the government? Why do they require security in a society? Are some of the questions which you are supposed to get clarified on after reading this particular topic. Understood? This is what I meant to say. These are the two examples, right? Is it clear now? So likewise, some topics of the syllabus will be very direct and clear, whereas some topics of the syllabus will be very complex, carrying hidden meaning with them. Okay, which you are supposed to understand that also, because you know in the initial days when you read the syllabus itself seems to be very complex for you. Hence, if you decode the syllabus first before starting yourselves, allot just 1 week, ma. Within 1 week, I'm sure, if you keep on continuously working on this, I'm sure 1 week of, in a span of 1 week, I'm sure you'll be decoding the entire syllabus, and thereafter, you know, you will be easy. It will become very easy for you, because our brain, after all, it always likes everything in parts only. That is why we are much more interested in seeing the web series than the whole film these days, especially, which you are much more aware of. Okay, that's why I'm citing this example for you. Web series will be very much absorbed into our brain rather than the whole film, unless until we are much more interested in that. That is why, first of all, you are dividing this into chunks for your brain to absorb. Clear? Right. So, and then after this, by reading the whole syllabus till paper 4, ethics, and optional also, then you will be, if you start reading the syllabus by start reading the actual textbooks, NCERTs, or you can switch on to standard books also, then it will become very easy for you. Hope this session will be useful for you, and thereafter, you know, I'll be giving a detailed analysis of each and every paper for not more than 10 minutes, so that you know, you'll be getting an idea on how to analyze each paper and how to start reading. Okay, and I'll also give you an idea, basic idea and suggestion of how to connect your syllabus with the topic of what you are reading to make it much more interesting and purposeful for you. So on this note, I'm wrapping up this session. All the best. Bye.